Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we are now in TNA. As you know, we had emergence, and a lot of things have taken place. So we have a brand new TNA X Division champion. The tag team champion still, of course, going on. But however, we are now entering the road to victory road. So I can't wait to what we're gonna get there. But a lot of things have happened during now. Jordan Grace defended her TNA Knockouts World title in an open challenge. And of course, something just transpired after that match, and I think many of you are going to like it. As you all know, JDC, or should I say Dirty Dango, he is going to prove himself that he wants to be part of the system. The only way they're going to do that if they defeat Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. So we will see if that will happen. And then, of course, we have a lot of things taking place as well. And then we move on with Ring of Honor. We do have a proving ground match for the ROH Women's World Television title, and we got plenty other things that took place. But the main event features Mina Shirakawa versus Tail Valkyrie. As you know, last week Mina was attacked by Tail Valkyrie, and she will explain why she did exactly what she did. So, and also we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions I've set aside, I think it's time to hit the road. So let's begin with our very first review, and that is, of course, TNA. Okay, TNA. Well, as you know, a lot of things have happened. We had, of course, the emergence, and then, of course, recently, talent were in NXT. As you know, the Rascals are now #1 contenders for the NXT tag team titles. So that is something we are looking forward to it. But a lot of things will take place. But it opened up with the system once again. You know, as you know, they got away with it by beating the Hardys, Santana, and Hendry in an 8-man tag match, proving once again why they are the dominant faction. And of course, Masha Slaven was there, but she's not like a full-blown member, more like an associate. But however, of course, Spitfire was there too. So basically, they want to have a title shot of the TNA tag team title. So we'll see what happens, but we'll get to that. Now, Eric Young, as you know, he basically showed respect to Macklin. He told him, that he beat him fair and square, so he's willing to acknowledge. But he has one course he has to go through right now, and that is Jake something, someone he knows that is powerful and dangerous enough, so he's willing to go to that distance. So we'll get to that match in a bit. Our next match, we have Kushida versus Laredo Kid. This match was an X Division match that we should definitely see. Not the title, but you know what I mean. However, this match was cut into a no contest thanks to Josh Alexander attacking them. But many of you may ask, why would Josh Alexander attack Kushida? I can think of one specific reason. If you guys remember, before Alexander relinquished the belt, he was injured. The person that caused the injury was Kushida. So it's his way of getting even with him for that. So basically, of course, Kushida could not take that kindly. So he asked for this to have a match between Josh Alexander, which it did. But however, Josh Alexander walked away as the victory with, of course, the C4 spike. But the C4 spike might have caused some damage to Kushida. So Kushida was on his way back. He was being helped by Joe Hendry, who couldn't stand seeing what happened to Kushida. But of course, Hendry hasn't forgotten what Josh Alexander did to him. As you remember, back in Slammiversary, he cost him the opportunity to become a TNA World Title Champion. But they will confront each other at some point. Now, Jordynne Grace once again puts her TNA Knockouts World title on the line, and if she wins this match, she wins 15 consecutive victories. But she has to face against an opponent, and the opponent was none other than Carmen Petrovic. But before Carmen Petrovic came out, Ariana Grace showed up, and they acknowledged that she is the daughter of Santino, so that kind of sets it up. But throughout the entirety of the match, we did see Rosemary at the top of the rafters watching this. Now, it's no secret, if you guys remember, Rosemary was involved in that match that was brutally interrupted by, of course, Ash by Elegance, who is still bitter not winning the match. But, however, it would make sense. But Jordynne Grace was able to overcome that match. Now she put her in a, of course, the Juggernaut driver, and just like that, it was over. But however, once the celebration started, the lights turned off. We don't know what happened, and then we see, of course, Jordynne Grace on the ground laying flat on her back. But there was a pillow right next to her. A pillow. Now, there's only one person who uses a pillow, and she's not part of TNA. It's Wendy Chu. It has to be her. Because remember, Wendy Chu had Rosemary to deal with Kalani Jordan, and now it's like Rosemary is asking for a favor. It would make sense. So we will see what happens next week when we get there. Now, of course, the ABC, as you know, retained the tag team titles back in Emergence. But however, of course, the First Class are not willing to let that go. Because, of course, the fact is this. AJ Francis feel it should have been him winning the match, but they forget. He was already tagged out thanks to Casey Navarro. So basically he feels that it's an unfair, unjust type of thing. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, we do see a bit of a video of someone who's coming, but many people have been talking about this on social media. There's only one logical person who could beat this, and I think some of you may have that speculation. I have that speculation. It's Xia Li, or known as Xia Zhao. So that is possibly the chance. I mean, I'm fine with her going to TNA. I don't have nothing against that. But I think it would be an interesting thing. Once we talk more until we cross that bridge, we'll see where that goes. Now, we do see Zachary Wentz comes out to do a promo, finally talking about what happened to him 2 years ago. If you guys remember, he was let go by WWE due to the fact that of those allegations towards him thanks to his ex-wife. He felt that he was about to give up. And then, of course, He came back and tried to restart again, and he's thankful where he's at now. And of course, he was interrupted by Bayley, the former champion, so he issued his rematch clause. So they were understanding on that, but however, those loudmouth morons, the good hands, showed up. Because of course John Skyler is talking on these nonsense, saying that the moment was stolen from from Jason Hodge. He felt that he's the real star. Like, no, you did not win the belt. It was, um, you know, Zachary Wentz. But later, this match turned into a tag team match. But of course, we will see Bayley and Zach win in the match, but they had to go through the good hands. But it was the UFO cutter by Zach onto Skyler to pick up the win. But if I'm my guess, I think we will see Mike Bailey and Zachary Wentz at Victory Road. That will be my assumption right there. Now, Steph Delanders is dealing with this whole dramatic problem. Now, she would have thought in her mind that Matt Cardona would be on board with her relationship, but for some reason he's not. So things are coming chaotic, and PCO wants a piece of him. So sooner or later, things have to be resolved. Now, we do see, of course, the Hardys talking about, of course, the system and their way back to the TNA Tag Team title. So that's something we definitely could see down the line. Our next match, we have Eric Young versus Jake Something. The match was pretty good. I have to say it was very, very interesting, of course, with Eric Young, who was the veteran in the TNA original. But however, he picked up the win with the power driver. But in the post-match, of course, Jake attacked Eric Young out of nowhere. And Steve Macklin shows up to rescue him. Now, you would think this is not Macklin's out of character. But maybe because, you know, he realized that, yes, a TNA original has acknowledged him. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think many of us are okay with it. Now, we do see an interview with Heather Reckless. Many of you may or may not know who she is. She's a wrestler I've seen in the Independents. I've seen her on Ring of Honor, AEW, Dark, that sort of thing. She was there to be an interview. But, of course, Ash by Elegance tells Gia that why she interviewed nobodies. But of course, Giselle Shaw got in her face, and then of course, then things got a little chaotic. Giselle gave Ash by Elegance a bitch slap that she deserved. So I thought that was great. Now our main event is of course the JDC and Moose taking on Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, but Josh Alexander makes his way to the ring, to the commentary, but things got a little out of hand later on. I mean, we should have seen this one coming. Josh Alexander attacked Joe Hendry, costing the match to lose. Of course, Santana got speared by Moose, all thanks to, of course, Josh Alexander getting away, and that's what happened. So we'll see where that goes. But however, Nick Mendez overheard what Moose said about him and the title, so here's the thing, Mendez felt like he may have been the world champion now, but he's not satisfied the fact that he did not get the man he wanted to pin. So he's going to give him the opportunity at Victory Road. So that's going to be a match we definitely want to see. Now, last time these two tangled with each other, of course, Moose got away with it, but it's because he had the system by his side. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll end things here with TNA and move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. It opened up with singles action. We have Aaron Solo versus Rocky Romero. Nothing too significant about this match anyway, but not saying it was a good or a bad or a great opener, but a good, a somewhat okay match. But I can tell you this match ended with Rocky Romero applying the super sliced bread on top of the corner side of the ring, and just like that, it was over. Then we see Lady Frost, as you know, talk about her career, what she's been doing the last few months for 2024. She even talked about, of course, being in a proving ground match for the women's world television title, which is something she was involved in, but did not went through. But yes, she's issued a challenge for a proving ground match against Red Velvet. So we'll get to that in a bit. Our next match, we have Nick Comoroto versus Lee Johnson. Of course, we haven't seen Lee Johnson since he lost to Kyle Fletcher, but we do know that he probably will get another play for the ROH World Television title, but he has to deal with Nick Comoroto. And then Jacoby Watts gets involved in some ways, but it messed up. Nick Comoroto got rolled up by Lee Johnson, picking up the win. And then once again, he was attacked behind by both Comoroto and Jacoby until the judge showed up. They give them a trial, and that is, of course, EJ Nduka. So Lee Johnson had a buddy to help him out. So he even explained in the interview that he was attacked by cowards. Even Nduka agrees with him. So they needed to be judged. Now, head of their tag team match, Beef and his cousin, one half of the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry. Well, he's not satisfied the fact that his cousin's involved, but they're trying to act like they are, but they're not. So we'll see that. Our next match, we have Racheal Ellering versus Gigi Ray. The match was okay, but Racheal Ellering tried to swish on her, did not work, so she only had one move in her pocket that could help, was the Boss Woman Slam, and just like that, it was over. Next match, we have Anthony Henry and Beef taking on Jay Lucas and Teriyaki. Now, the ring commentators were like saying, "Is that what I heard, Teriyaki?" Like, yes. Well, you got Beef and Teriyaki, so it's a good combination. So I'm like, I like how they work together. That's pretty great. But it was Beef to pick up the win with a frog splash onto Lucas, and just like that was over. But Anthony Henry doesn't know what to make of it. I mean, he's always been more and more cohesive with JD Drake, but we'll see where that leads. Our next match, we have the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder, taking on the Spanish Announce Project, Angelico and Serpentico. You would think that a lot of shenanigans was going to happen. Well, Jack Jameson gets involved, of course, but it was, of course, Angelico with the Navarro lock onto Bronson to force him to tap. I'm sure that we will see Angelico down the road for another shot of the Pure Championship. That is something we could definitely see down the road. Now, our next match is a proving ground match for the ROH Women's World Television title. Lady Frost versus Red Velvet. The match was fine, nothing too big, but we have seen how much Lady Frost has become. I mean, she is a very talented wrestler. I'm even a fan of her. I like her gimmick. I like what she does. But unfortunately, she did not pick up the win. Red Velvet defeated her, but she did show the honor code to her at the end. So that's something we will see. Hopefully, we'll see Lady Frost another opportunity at some point. Now, Tail Valkyrie had to explain herself why she did to Mina Shirakawa. There's a reasons why. It's no doubt in everybody's mind that Mina Shirakawa is a big star. But for Taya, she's saying that, Mina, people love you, but you're never here all the time. So she feels in her way, I'm the one who's been grinding here the entire time while you're in Japan all the time. So basically that was it. So they will deal with each other in the main event. Our next match, we have Lance Archer and the Righteous taking on Lights, Camera, Action. Well, I can tell you this match ended with the blackout, and Lights, Camera, Action was done. So, as they always say, that's a wrap, folks. So, that's how it goes. Next up, we have Diamante taking on Tiara James. Well, this match ended with a somewhat of a crossroads type maneuver. But however, Diamante decided to attack Tiara, and Red Velvet showed up on the defensive. So basically, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Diamante wants a shot of the ROH Women's World Television title. We'll see. Now, next match we have Griff Garrison versus Cool Hand Ange. Of course, Maria was gonna get involved. It was no secret. But of course, they used the shoe as a distraction, and it worked. And then, of course, he tried the torture bomb, and just like that, so Griff Garrison picked up the win. Next up, we have the premier athletes, Nice and Davari, taking on Joe Alonso and Josiah Jean. Well, this match ended with, of course, a big splash by Davari onto Alonso. Nothing to significance of this match. Next match, we have Josh Silva versus Fuego del Sol. Well, Fuego had to deal with, of course, the number games in this match. Basically, Uno and Rolos were there, but of course, it was like a doctor spin by John Silver to pick up the win, and just like that, it was over from there. Next up, we have Abaddon versus Racheal Chanel, who we haven't seen for quite some time, but she's been appearing in Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's promotion. But this match ended with the Black Dahlia, just like that. Next up, we have Josh Woods taking on Katsuyori Shibata. I think that this is not the first time these two face each other, but however, it was, of course, when Katsuyori Shibata could not do the one thing he did. As you know, he's the adopted son of Texas, so he applied the claw, and then across body arm, and just like that, it was over. So basically, he was able to adapt it. Now, our main event, we have Tail Valkyrie versus Mina Shirakawa. Now, it's no secret that Mina, since she has grown, she has become more methodical. So she targeted Tail Valkyrie's knees. She did, of course, Tail tried to do dirty things as well in her mind, but nothing worked. But, however, of course, Mina showed why she is a top star, and she put her through a figure four, and just like that, it was over. So, pretty much, just like that. So, we don't know for sure right now if Mina just returned back to Japan, because we do know she will be participating in the next, in October, I believe, for another, for the undisputed British Women's Championship. That's something we will see at some point. But as of right now, for her in the U.S. dates, we're not sure. I'm pretty guessing that she might be on her way back to Japan. So we'll see about that. I think so, yeah, because Hanako will be with Micah in a tag match this Saturday, I think. But yeah, we'll go from there. But for now, we'll just end things right here and finish off our episode with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for you. So let's begin with, of course, the upcoming events from the promotion, starting with GCW. We have a lot of things to happen. Now, as you know, this coming on the 14th in Detroit for Bad One, they announced that Megan Bayne will be in action to take on Brooke Havoc. And then the following day in Rochester, New York for the G Code, Matt Cardona, Mance Warner, and Broski Jamie will be teaming up to take on Megan Bayne, Effie, and one called Manders. And then, of course, a new show has been announced in October on the 18th in Denver, and it's called War Ready. Now, we haven't heard yet who will be participating, but we will get to that at some point. Of course, they announced the new show, Blood on the Hills 3, on the 19th of... No, it's 19th? Yeah, on the 19th of October in LA at the UCC. Two names have been announced, Jack Evans and Chris Bay. And then finally, they announced that GCW will return to Seattle on December 28th. Now, of course, we have Marvelous. They'll be doing a show on the 9th of September in Shinkiba. Two title matches have been announced. The Prestige title will be defended. Alan Angels defends his belt against Starboy Charlie. And then, of course, the AAW tag team titles will be defended. Team 200 kilogram, you and Big Hash defend the belts against Jesse Jackson and Sandra Moon. Now, later on this month, on the 14th of September, CML will have their 91 anniversary show, and this one features the CML Women's World title will be defended. Willa Nangel defends her belt against, of course, Stephanie Vakir's former tag partner, um, Zuxis, and Zeuxis, I think that's her name. But yes, as you know, she is. Zeuxis was not happy with the fact that, of course, um, the title is now in the hands of Foreigner. But yes, that's how things are. Made MLW will be back with another show later on this month on the 14th with Fightland. We're gonna have the Andersons versus the Bumaye Fight Club. For the West Coast Pro, we have the thing that should not be on the 11th of October. High End will be involved. And of course, as you know, RevPro has announced for their upcoming show, Global Wars UK, on the 19th of October. Two CML stars will be participating. We have Mascara Dorada and Titan. Now, interesting news have developed. Sendai Girls has announced that they will have this very interesting tournament they've been doing. This one's called the Jaja Uman Tournament, and it's a 3-day show on October 3rd, October 18th, and October 20th. Now, this particular event is for wrestlers who are limited, who are currently in less than 3 years tenures. Now, if you guys knew this, wrestlers who are only have less than 3 years of experience, and now they already announced who will be participating. We have from Stardom, Rian and Aya Sakura. Now remember, Rian debuted this year, Aya Sakura last year, but much of last year she was out due to an injury. We have from Evolution, Chi Chi and Soy. Ceiling, we have Mirai, Spike Nishimura. Don't know who she is, but I heard that she's from here, the States. Magatsu Kato, don't know much about her. We have Yuzuki. From Wave, we have Hanako, and then of course, Sendai's very own Yuna. So yeah, so this is an event for only wrestlers that are currently in their 3 year of experience at the moment. Now, finally, NWA has announced for their upcoming schedule for this year. Let me pull up what they have. Okay, so they will be in Chicago on Friday, the September 20th, for Riot Fest. There's a 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Chicago, September 20th, 21st, and 20th, and then they go on tour. They'll be heading to Queens, New York, on the 27th of September, and on the 29th they will be in Huntington Station for that. And then they'll do TV tapings for 2 days in Tampa on October 5th and October 6th. And then, of course, they will be making their way to Sarasota, Florida for Samayan. That will take place on the 26th. And then finally, Looks That Kill on December 14th in Dunham, Alabama. So basically, that's their schedule for that. So now let's move on with developments. We only have lesser on this one. TNA has announced that they signed Heather Reckless. As you know, she made her appearance. Not her in-ring debut just yet. I'm sure it's only a matter of time until that. Now, Bryan Danielson has once again been on the media. It's revealed that he filed the trademark, yes, but apparently WWE are telling him that was infringements. Now, this is what he had to say. So he had to speak to Luke James Chats. It's weird I applied for it, but then I got it wasn't necessary. Cease and desist. I got sort of a legal letter from WWE. He laughs. Listen, it's really weird because my manager texted me and said, hey, the thing is available. Do you want to get it? And I was like, how much does it cost? And it wasn't that much. I was like, okay, sure. And then shortly after that, I got an email from WWE saying, oh, this is infringement on this or whatever, or of that or whatever. I was like, dude, I'm not going to try to sell anybody or anything. I'm just doing my thing. You know, this is a similar thing that we saw. Now, if you guys remember, the Bullet Club used to do this all the time. And WWE set out a cease and desist to have them to stop doing that. Basically, they acted like they owned it, but there was never any trademark about it. That's something that many fans have talked. And I think that's what people are saying. So Bryan Danielson covered his bases, in my opinion. He did exactly what he wanted to know, how much it cost. No one was filing a trademark, but WWE are saying that he's not allowed to do this. I'm like, he's not selling it or anything. doing his own thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But WWE are being unreasonable, so hopefully he can resort this. We'll see what happens. But for now, we'll just leave things like that, and then we'll just call it a day. Okay, guys, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I think we do have AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. Let me look it up real quick. Uh, uh, yeah, we do have that, and I believe we have Collision as well. So basically, we got that covered as well. Uh, but yes, we'll see how that rolls. And I'm also considering maybe, just maybe, do the Got to Move show for the future. This is one I definitely don't want to miss out. But we'll see how that rolls up from there. But for now, we'll just leave it as that, and we'll see what happens. But I also want to give you guys a heads up. This coming Saturday, it's my dad's birthday, but I won't be able to do a whole lot of reviews. I may be able to do, hopefully, all in or all out. I'm not sure, depending how things will go. But we'll see what happens. But until then, I'll see you guys the next time. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day.